Hey everyone, it's your favorite small-time production artist, Omar here, and today I want to talk about what it actually takes to become a professional photographer, videographer, and why it goes well beyond the gear and the equipment, which is even what I make a ton of videos on this channel. We live in a world that's obsessed with the latest and greatest. The newest camera, the sharpest lens, the fastest autofocus. It's easy to believe that your success as a photographer or videographer hinges on having the best gear money can buy. But what if I told you that success in photography or videography is less about what's in your bag and more about who's in your contact list? Let's get into it. The truth is, making a living as a photographer or videographer isn't about having the most megapixels or the latest lens or the most bokeh-licious lens. It's about being a people person. Someone knows how to connect, how to communicate, and that's what ends up building trust between you and your client. That's what turns one-time shoots into lifelong clients and one-off projects into ongoing relationships with brands. Take my experience with SBD Apparel, and yes, I just realized that I'm wearing one of their shirts right now. Wasn't done on purpose. How I ended up working with them was back in 2020, which, our favorite year. They were looking for someone to shoot the Arnold Pro Strongman show, and my name popped up. Not just because of the work I've done, but because of relationships I've built in the amateur strongman community. I also ran a meme page called World's Strongest Me, which probably showed them that I like the sport just a little more than the average videographer. That connection led them to trusting me enough to go shoot World's Strongest Man alone in 2021, while their in-house team was at a major powerlifting event. That trust has turned into a rock-solid relationship that's lasted for years. There we go, see? It's actually a video clip. But it wasn't all smooth sailing. At the same World's Strongest Man event in 2021, we were under the brutal Sacramento sun, and literally there was no coverage from clouds or anything whatsoever. Cameras were overheating left and right, and mine were no exceptions. I had to switch back and forth between the two Fujifilm X-T3 bodies I had just to keep shooting. It nearly cost me Tom Stoltman's winning run and that big celebration he had at the end with Luke. Very emotional, almost lost it because my cameras kept overheating. Now, that was a really close call, and live events you cannot do twice. So a few months later, the Canon R5C came out. I bit the bullet, spent money I really did not want to spend, but now overheating is no longer a concern for me or my clients. Think about it. When you're behind the camera, you're not just taking a picture or shooting a video. You're making someone feel seen, appreciated, and understood. For athletes, you're recording a life highlight when they show up at their best to challenge themselves in front of the world. And it doesn't matter how big or small that stage is. That's what people remember. That's what keeps them coming back. And when it comes to brands, it's what earns you their trust and their repeat business. But the work doesn't stop when the shoot ends. How you market yourself, how you engage with your audience on social platforms, how you respond to comments. All of these are part of the job. Potential clients are watching, and they're looking for photographers and videographers who not only deliver great content, but also know how to create connection, navigate discussions, and have the soft skills needed to really deliver something great, even when they may not initially see the vision themselves. Now let's talk about the challenges that come with this profession. We all face them, especially in this economy, and after a while, you are going to have to increase your prices even on those who have been with you from the start. It is never an easy conversation, but here's how I handle it. And there are tons of problems, but this is the one I'm going to focus on in this video. You can ask me questions below if you want me to cover other topics, and I guess it's a good time to remind you to like and subscribe. But to avoid the friction when it comes to raising prices when it's time to finally do that, I always give my clients ample notice when I need to raise my rates. Meaning it's not going to be right before a big event or right before something we agree to where I say, hey, by the way, my rates have to go up. That's unacceptable, and that'll get you blacklisted in a heartbeat. I always start by thanking them for the relationship we've built and all the work they've sent my way over the years. To date, I haven't had an issue with this, and I think I never will as long as my increases aren't huge and they're not frequent. So long as you treat them with respect, most brands will pay you pretty much whatever it is that you ask for, but if you pull the rug out from under their feet, they will drop you the second they can. You also have to accept the fact that the unexpected will happen. Whether it's a sudden downpour during a sports shoot or a last-minute change to your brand's campaign, and there is always a last-minute change to that campaign, your ability to stay calm, professional, and most importantly, solutions-oriented is going to be what sets you apart. Part of creativity is being a problem solver, and creativity is typically problem solving within a set of constraints. Sometimes those constraints change pretty quickly, and how you react to that is going to make all the difference. That's going to be what sets you apart. It's what gives your clients and brands confidence that no matter what happens, whatever it is, you'll deliver. That's why I had to invest the extra money in really reliable gear like the Canon R5C to eliminate any chance of overheating and to make sure that I could focus on what really counts, getting the shot that they hired me for. Let me tell you guys something. Oh no, my camera's overheating, or oh no, something went wrong is a you problem, not a them problem. And it can be an even bigger you problem if this becomes a legal issue for missing a shot. Keep that in mind, and that's also why you should always have insurance as well. Social media. God, I've made my career on social media, but social media is another critical piece of the puzzle. Most people separate their personal and professional lives by creating different accounts. Like they'll have a business account with, Omar Rabawi Photography, then it'll be your personal name, and I tried that. It just wasn't for me. Photography and videography aren't just a job for me, they're my passion. I love talking about my work, I love doing experimental things, I love sharing my experiences, and connecting with others who share the same interest is actually how I've progressed my career as well. But it never felt like I was progressing my career. It just felt like I was hanging out with other creatives and it was a lot of fun. So I merge it all together. And there are definitely some risks when it comes to that. Big example right now, I am a very big advocate for Palestinians as I am of Palestinian descent. Some brands will not touch anyone who even says the word Palestine because they have all their finances locked up in the Zionist state of Israel, some way or another, either through investments or mutual funds, or they're getting funding from there. And it gets so bad that people who work internally at the company have been fired. Now, the creative space is one thing, but the legal and medical field in the United States, yikes. Plenty of lawsuits incoming, I imagine. That's a very real thing, that when you bring your true self, and that's really important for me, there is going to be a time where your values and your wallet go head to head. And if you're going to be your unapologetic self on social media, you better hope that it's not your wallet that ends up winning out. On the flip side, though, if you have someone who is very supportive of you or your cause, or maybe some hobby that you have that they see on social media, that could very much work in your favor as well. Pros and cons, pros and cons. It's not for everybody, but it definitely is for me. My values are definitely more important than securing every job that comes my way. I make it a point to interact with my audience, sharing more than just the finished product, offering help. I do love making videos when people ask me to in the comments below if I have the capacity or the ability to do something that they're asking. And I'm always transparent about my techniques. I don't believe in gatekeeping techniques or locations or anything like that. I think that's weird. Having a scarcity mindset in a creative space is a great way to never grow. This approach builds relationships, and those relationships have propelled me forward in my career. I'm not just a photographer or videographer, I'm part of a community. So whether you're just starting out or looking to level up, you need to remember this. Photography and videography aren't just about what you capture, they're about the relationships you build, the trust you earn, the experiences you create for your clients, your audience, the brands you work with, and, yourself. We really need to drop that whole stereotype of the miserable creative. Social platforms are powerful, and in the beginning they were great for portfolios, but now if you don't use them to build genuine connection, you're leaving a lot of personal experience and money on the table. My last piece of advice is to always keep a personal project going. When photography and videography became my full-time job, I was a few years in and working internally in a corporation, I really started to resent my camera. So much so that I was actually on the verge of selling everything and leaving the career altogether. This was like 6-7 years in. It really wasn't that long ago from now. There was no joy in pressing that shutter button, and it would take me hours to edit like a 10-second clip. It was crazy. And the reason for it was that everything was transactional at that point. If it wasn't something that wasn't getting me a ton of likes or making me money, I just didn't do it, and that was a recipe for disaster. Ironically, it wasn't until I started working on a project to brush up on some skills that I just got super rusty after a while that I remembered why I even got into this field to begin with. Right now, this YouTube channel is my creative project and I'm really enjoying it. My videos don't always get a ton of views. You can scroll back, you see plenty of them that only have like 100 or 200 views, but that's okay. What matters is that I'm learning, I'm growing, I'm having fun, and I've made quite a few friends through these videos too. And for you, friend, if you have any questions, drop them in the comments below. I'd love to hear your thoughts and help you avoid making the mistakes that I did along the way, but I can't promise that you won't be making new ones. And with that being said, catch you at the next one.